Welcome to another tale from Surgeons Hall. The museum is home not just to a fascinating surgical collection, but also a renowned dental collection, and I thought I would give just a little insight into the history of dentistry. So, just like surgery, dentistry's beginnings were found in a trade. The surgeons stemmed from barbers, and the dentists stemmed from a wide variety of trades, the most common being blacksmiths, but also barbers, watchmakers, and goldsmiths. These skilled tool makers, particularly blacksmiths, often doubled up as dentists due to their abilities to create the instruments needed for tooth extraction. However, medical men, particularly the early barber surgeons, could also remove teeth if required. Travelling quacks at fairs would often perform tooth removal for the entertainment of the crowd. These people sold their trade at markets and fairs from town to town. Often, the opening act was an apparent, painless removal of a tooth, which would probably have been staged. Or, occasionally, as this artwork shows, the actual removal of a tooth from a willing participant from the crowd. It was widely believed up until the 19th century that cavities were caused by worms in the tooth, so sometimes these performers would remove a maggot from the mouth of an accomplice on stage to show that they could apparently cure the tooth. They would also sell numerous charms for wearing around the neck, which were believed to cure toothache. These marketplace charlatans had no medical qualifications, and this dental experience would have been a painful one. Blacksmiths and barbers could make a very attractive fee for the removal of a tooth, and so this became common practice. These images show the crudeness of the instruments used and the very painful experience one would have had visiting any of these early dentists. As the trade grew, so did skills, and the professions of the tooth drawer and then the operator of the tooth became fashionable titles in cities like London. The operator of the teeth and the tooth drawer brought more respectability to the trade and were common in these larger cities. The towns and villages, however, were often left to the skills of the blacksmith or the travelling quack. The term dentist did not come into the English language until the 1750s, originating in France. However, even when this term came into being and more dentists were established, there was no organised training of dentists. And originally, it really was not seen as a respected branch of medicine that it is today. Instead, just like the origins of the barber surgeons, these skilled operators and newly named dentists took on apprentices instead in order to teach and develop their craft. Many men from the Royal College of Surgeons of Edinburgh occasionally lectured on subjects connected with the teeth, such as James Ray in the 18th century and John Goodsir in the mid-19th century. But it would not be until 1856 that the first course on dentistry would take place in Scotland, given by John Smith. His regular course looked at the physiology and diseases of the teeth, and he was key in establishing the Edinburgh Dental Dispensary, which became the Edinburgh Dental School. And in addition, he helped create the Dental Surgery Diploma at the Royal College of Surgeons in Edinburgh in 1877, which brought some much needed respectability and standards to the profession. This fantastic quote from an 1840s dentist showcases just how easily one could call themselves a dentist. It wasn't until 1878 that any legislation was brought in to restrict the act of dentistry to those with formal training, though this act fell very short in actually regulating the trade. Astoundingly, it was not until 1921 that the practice was truly regulated, with the introduction of the Dentist Act. This finally ensured that only dentists who had been trained in a dental school could be admitted to the dental register, and only registered dentists were permitted to practice dentistry in Britain. Join me next time as I explore early dental hygiene and the very dreaded removal